Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. I know it's not Halloween. Alright, that's long past. But when it came to my Halloween videos, I ran out of time and I couldn't upload everything I wanted to. So that's why I'm uploading them past Halloween. But if you stop and look at it like this, at some point in time, it's gonna be Halloween time again, October. So somebody eventually will stumble upon my videos and watch it around Halloween time. So yeah, and I'm here today to talk to you about Smile, the 2022 psychological thriller slash horror movie. So this was created by Parker Finn. He originally created a short movie called Laura Hasn't Slept. And in that movie, Caitlin Stasey plays Laura, where she also plays Laura also in Smile, because the events of what happened in Laura Hasn't Slept trickles over into Smile. And so Smile has a bit more of a bigger cast and everything, but it's not as scary as like Laura Hasn't Slept, but it's still a good movie. I like Smile, but in all honesty, it doesn't feel all that original. It's basically it meets The Ring, and of course The Ring is just American adaptation of Ringo and stuff like that. But this is this dude's first like attempt at like something major in Hollywood, where he both wrote and directed this movie. He did a really good job, but the jump scares I appreciate. They was fresh. They felt original. They felt like, chilling and everything. But they had me cracking up because I was like, oh man, I can't believe that just happened. The best jump scare, because I first watched it, originally I was not going to watch this movie. See, I recognize Caitlin Stasey in this movie, and I'm a fan of hers and stuff. She's an Australian actress. And I first saw her in Rain, and then Class of '07. But, it's just like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm cool with her, but I don't feel like watching this movie. Like, I'm not really all that into horror. I'm more of a slasher kind of guy. So I just wasn't ever going to watch it. And so, like, I was on Amazon Prime one day, and I saw this, and I'm just kind of like, man, what is this movie about? So then I went to YouTube and looked at the trailer. I'm all like, okay, I'm kind of bored, whatever. But then that jump scare near the car was awesome. With like the sister, and her head came down and just like whipped in the wind. I'm just like, dude, that was perfect timing. And I had no idea that was gonna happen. So I'm like, I have to watch this movie. So I first started watching it on Amazon Prime. But then I realized, oh wait, I got Paramount Plus. I might as well just watch it on there. And so, like, and this movie is also available someplace else. I think MGM Plus, I believe. And so, yeah, this was a really cool movie. And I actually recognized majority of the cast. Like, the lead actress in this, I think her name is Susie Bacon. She plays Rose. And I remember her from 13 Reasons Why, the first two seasons, and also because she was the kind of the manic goth girl with like the buns and stuff. I also remember her from Scream, the television series. I didn't even recognize her in this because her hair is different, but I had no idea she is the daughter of Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. I had no idea those two even like, did it or like together and stuff. And so like I remember her. I forget that one dude from the White Castle movies who like used to get high and stuff. That dude, I forget his name, but he's in there. What's his name? Is it Jesse T. Usher, who plays like I think it's A-Train from The Boys. I remember him, and of course I remember Caitlin Stasey from Rain and everything. And also I had no idea that Cal Gallner from Smallville, who played like Impulse and everything, he plays in this movie as well. So at least I recognize some people, so I'm happy about that. But this movie was very pleasant, man. Cause like even though I saw the trailer, I didn't really pay attention to the trailer all that much. But like when I saw the movie, I'm just like, hey, this is kind of boring. This is kind of boring. But you kind of need those boring moments to get to the good stuff, because the character of Rose is a psychiatrist, and so she's very calm. She's very collective and everything. So you kind of need that boringness from her to like, go along with the rest of the movie when she starts to have a nervous breakdown and stuff. And so one thing I like about Parker's directing is that when I say like this reminds me of The Ring, this is basically The Ring. Like that's basically what all this movie is. And it's a little sad to see it copy basically that movie. Basically, just like with it, there's this demonic entity that goes around killing people, and you only have about like 3 to 4 days before like you die, and something triggers these events. Basically, you have to see a person kill themselves, and it has to be so traumatic that it passes the curse on to you. And then like within that 3 to 4 day period, you start to see hallucinations and everything. And not only just hallucinations, but the person who killed themselves, you constantly see that person, but they're always smiling with a demonic grin on their face. They're just grinning from ear to ear. And so like that's where all the jump scares come from. You're constantly seeing this person over and over, no matter where you're at. And it makes you slowly go nutty in the head and stuff like that. And so, like, just like with The Ring, right before it's your time to go, that person will contact you and be all like, it's gonna happen soon and stuff like that. And so, like, just like with The Ring, there's a way to get rid of it. You have to put the curse onto somebody else. And it's a very high price of putting that curse onto somebody else. But then if you choose to keep it, eventually you will go mad and you will off yourself. And if somebody is in the room with you, the curse will pass on to you. And so that's what happened to Rose. Rose is talking to Laura, having a therapy section, and Laura is freaking the F out, and Rose can't understand why. So then all of a sudden, here comes Laura grinning from ear to ear. She takes like an object and she cuts her throat. And she cuts the throat in a very smiley kind of way. Oh, also about Parker's direction. Like I said, when it copies Ring, this feels honestly when you watch this movie, it feels like an American adaptation of a Japanese like ghost movie. That's what it feels like. And just like with The Ring, it has really interesting imagery and stuff. Like, he decides to put emphasis on certain things. Like when she opens up the can of cat food and scoops it out, it's like zoomed in on like the can and the food, and you hear all the squishy noise and stuff like that. Certain noises you wouldn't expect to hear are amplified and everything. Certain things the camera zooms in on, you don't expect it really to zoom in on. She has a tattoo of a tree on somewhere on her body, and it reminds me of the tree from like The Ring. So it does kind of suck that when he had his big theatrical movie thing, he basically just like modified Ring. You know what I'm saying? I would have appreciated more if he just would have kept to what made Laura Hasn't Slept more of that. But anyway, so like, anyways, after she like, kills herself, Rose is upset. And so she has a fiance, Cal. And I'm so glad she's down for the Brown. Like she wanted to walk with a limp for the rest of her life. How happy is that? But what I hate is that they basically made him just the love interest who does not believe her and tries to ambush her with a therapy session and everything and possibly have her committed. And then kind of treats her like crap, like, oh, I'm going to leave you type thing, and sleeps on the couch. And, it sucks how he later on became, because at first he started off as cool, but then it's just like, ugh, you know, and then she falls into like the hands of her ex-lover. I'm just like, really? Had to go down that route because her ex is the only one who believes her. Not even her sister believes her. And so she is constantly just seeing, like, Laura everywhere, just grinning, jumping out, scaring the crap out of her. She has no idea what's going on. She starts to hear somebody call out to her. She don't know what's going on. And then one night she can't find her cat Mustache. And so when she's at her sister's, she's at her nephew's birthday party, we see her buy like a little train set and put it in a box, right? And I'm thinking, okay, this is kind of like a horror movie. Something's gonna be in that box that's not gonna be a train. And even before the boy opened the box, you slowly start to see his face. He's kind of just looking at her like, "What the heck did you get me?" I'm thinking it's like a severed head. Nah, it's the dead cat. I bust out laughing. Cause that boy expression sold it perfectly, like a double, like a wrestler. He sold that look. And then of course, like you have Rose grabbing onto the cat, hugging it, hollering and screaming. Susie does some really good not scares, but screams, man. Like she really sells those screams and those hollers and stuff. And so, like your typical, like, paranormal type movie, you're gonna do some investigation. And so she calls on like her ex, Joel, to help her, like, investigate this because he's a cop, because, Kyle doesn't want to help her. And no, wait, not Kyle, but Trevor, her boyfriend, doesn't want to help her. And so, like, he doesn't believe her at first, but then after doing some investigation, she realized something. Like, there must be like a curse or something, because every time you see somebody kill themselves, you become affected. So she starts to find out who Laura saw. So she goes to that man's house and talks to his wife, pretending to be a reporter. When the wife gets agitated after a while, she makes Rose leave. Then she gets a call from like Joel talking about, like, why didn't you tell me this predates 20 years ago and stuff. So they start, like, doing more investigation and realize only one man has survived this, because there's only been 19 people dead, but it's been like 20 people. And so he's in prison locked up. And when she goes to visit him, he tells her how he survived this. Basically, he did some research as well, and one man survived there, something like that. And basically, you have to murder somebody, but you have to murder somebody in front of somebody. And when you do that murder, it has to be so dramatic, it has to be so messy, it has to be so horrifying that it passes the curse to that other person that witnessed it and stuff. And when she reveals that she can't murder somebody, oh my God, give this man an Oscar. This man hollered so loud and so perfectly. He stole the whole movie, in my opinion. Even more than that of Susie when she screams and hollers. This man literally looked like this woman turned into a ghostly monster and was going to get him. That was some good hollering. And so basically, Rose is having a bunch of hallucinations. There's one point where she thinks she's talking to her former therapist, and everything's nice and calm. You don't expect nothing until she gets a real call from the real therapist, realizing the woman in the room is not who she appears to be. So freaking out and everything, she has another hallucination where she's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna have to kill somebody. So she goes to like her job where she ain't supposed to be there because she screwed up, and she just starts stabbing like this one dude who already has that grin smile on his face, but she does it in front of her boss. The way she stabs him over and over is like weird. Like, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Like, when you stab somebody, like, what's this feeling I'm feeling through the screen? Well, it's another hallucination. So I'm thinking to myself, well, like, if she doesn't want to kill somebody, why doesn't she kill herself in a room by herself? Like, wouldn't that like get rid of the curse? Because it can't pass on to nobody. And then later on, like I'm thinking this, and she has that same thought in her head. Like, thank God that like somebody came up with that. So she goes to her old family home, which looks like crap, dude. Like, why does her old home look like that? And it's out in the middle of nowhere. And so after after Joel calls her and everything, he realizes, I guess, like where she's gonna be or something like that. So while she's there, she starts to hallucinate, and she starts to see that demonic presence. It finally took shape and everything. And so she burnt it like alive. And it's this big monstrous looking thing. So she burnt it alive. And you assume that she got rid of it, right? That she killed the monster. She killed the boogeyman and everything. Well, later on, you realize, oh crap, she was dreaming the entire time, hallucinating. And so as like Joel shows up and everything, he sees her like set herself on fire with a big grin on her face. And so he now witnessed this, and he's going to be cursed. So sadly, the hero of the movie actually got it. Like, she died. I'm surprised that happened. Normally that doesn't happen. In Final Destination it happens, but rarely does it happen. And so, like, yeah, if they do make a sequel, most likely it will be with Joel, or maybe they'll just do it with somebody else, who knows. But most likely they'll do it with Joel. That'll make the most logical sense. This is a really interesting and cool, like, twist on, like, a classic or two classic movies and stuff, where it just combines both. And sometimes, combining movies, it's okay. Like, it's cool to do that. Just don't make it too obvious on the nose, because as soon as I started watching this movie, I got more Ring vibes than I did that of It. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.